sitting here with Matt Busch. Let's start from the very beginning. Let's go back to your birth. Well, we'll skip ahead. Kindergarten. We'll start there, okay?
Okay.
Now, I read on your biography online that you were exposed to Star Wars at a very early age.
Sure.
Kindergarten.
Yes.
So you would have been how old?
4 years
Four.
old. Yeah.
So at that time, probably just the first movie was out, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So how were you exposed to it?
Actually, my parents went to preview it for me to see if because all the kids were seeing it, you know, and my parents actually determined that it was too harsh for a kid to see, you know, at 4 years old.
Okay.
You know, because Ben Kenobi gets cut in half, and Luke's aunt and uncle get burned to a crisp and stuff. Yes. So they actually said I couldn't. So on a weekend where I was staying with my grandparents, I tricked my grandparents into saying, "Yeah, well, you know, let's go see Star Wars," you know, and my grandparents took me at 4 years old.
Really?
That was how I did it. Yep.
And they probably decided it was some Ray Harryhausen.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Great.
Yep.
And then how soon after that did you start drawing?
I started drawing right after, but I think the big thing that really kind of taught me as the story goes, I was really into pop-up books, and I remember one day in one of those scholastic things that you get at school, there was the new Star Wars pop-up books. So of course, it's the two biggest things I love, pop-up books and Star Wars. So I ran home to tell my mom about it. She has to order this book for me, and she wouldn't because I never read any of the other books that she ordered for me.
Payback.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I marched up to my room. You know, I was going to hold my breath, but instead, I pulled out magic markers and construction paper, and I made my own Star Wars pop-up book. Yeah, at 4 years old. Now, granted, the drawings were little stick, you know, TIE fighters and stuff, but what was great about it was my mom was so impressed that secretly behind my back, she actually ordered the real, because she thought the book that I made was really neat, so she ordered the real book for me. So you can imagine on the day that like I was in school that all the, you know, the books came in, I was so bummed out. I actually had my, you know, the book that I made with me, and I had my head, we used to lift up our desks like this. I had my head in it because I could hear all the other kids like, "Oh, cool, I got my Star Wars pop-up book."
Yeah.
And I was going through my own, pretending I had the real thing, and I realized that the teacher's calling my name. So I go up there, and you can imagine how awesome it was to realize that I got my own Star Wars pop-up book. And that basically was the, that laid the ground for me going after my dreams, and it taught me that anything that you believe, you can achieve.
And now today, what, 30 years later?
Yes.
About?
Yep.
You have worked on, I mean, comic books. You've worked on, you've designed posters. You've done your own films.
Yeah.
Right? Is there anything in particular you'd like to talk about right now? I mean, I noticed you've got some. We can start. How about we start with this?
Okay. Yeah. This is
You Can Draw Star Wars.
You Can Draw Star Wars. This is the first season of my mini webisodes that were collected onto a limited edition DVD. Season 2 will be coming out, be debuting at Comic-Con. And basically, this is my little take. It's my little show that I get to teach children of all ages how to draw Star Wars. You can also sharpen your pencil by putting it in this little barrel-shaped sharpener here like this. Sharpen it like that, and look at that! Voila! It's the DVD I never had growing up. I didn't really have any DVDs growing up.
No. No, that's part of the, okay. Now you've made your own movie as well here at Conjure, right?
Yep.
So what's the deal with that? You just decided, I want a DVD out there, so I'm going to make one myself.
That's
same
kind of
thing?
how it happened. It was started off as an experiment, and it's a feature-length supernatural thriller.
Okay.
And it's gotten a total mixed bag of reviews. It's gotten everything from 5-star best movie of the year review to this made my eyeballs scab over from watching it.
Just like this show, exactly. Yeah.
That's it.
Same thing.
That's why I'm here.
But are you proud of it though?
I am. No, I am because.
Cut that. Anyway.
No, I am. It was my first stab at a feature length, and it was very experimental, and I think it shows, and people. You know, some people are open to that, and you know, if they know what it took to make it. I mean, obviously, it was funded completely out of my own pocket.
So when you say experimental, it's like Andy Warhol, a shot of the Empire State Building for 24 hours type thing?
It's not that experimental,
Okay.
but it's not. I didn't follow like a regular formula kind of thing.
Okay.
So some people might say, okay, 20 minutes in, you didn't set up your first crisis.
The Sid Field.
Yeah, you know.
Page number,
Right.
breakdown. Okay,
Yeah.
I see. All right, and what about this? What's this?
This is my new book that's coming out. This is The Worlds of Matt Busch from Hermes Press. And this is actually my third art book, but it's the first one that actually collects all the different genres that I've worked in.
Okay.
So there's sci-fi. There's actually a complete section on Star Wars. some of my Star Wars work, but it's also got action, which is a lot of my movie work, and it also has Dark Visions, which has some of my Night of the Living Dead covers and some of the stuff I've done for Gene Simmons. It's got
Woo!
It's got.
We got some
Gene
Kiss
Simmons.
fans here.
Oh,
some
really?
big
Okay.
Kiss
Oh, I
fans,
got
yeah.
some good Gene stories. But,
you like to say those on the air, or is that?
Yeah.
Oh, do you mind if we hear one of them right now, real quick?
Gene story?
Gene Simmons, yeah.
Oh man, I've got a good one. It's kind of long though. I don't know how long you want me to go into it.
We got what, 20 minutes? How much tape we got left?
We got
No, we can. you can give us the
rundown.
Yeah, the Reader's Digest version if you want.
So it turns out Gene Simmons is a fan of my work. I didn't know this the first time I met him though. And so I just introduced myself as Matt, and I actually, I'm not a huge Kiss fan, but somehow I stumbled upon reading his book, Sex, Money, Kiss.
Okay.
Turns out it was the greatest book that I had read at the time.
Okay.
The only thing I don't agree with him on are his views on women. So when I meet him, I'm with my girlfriend at the time, and I said, hey, I read your book, it was awesome, blah, blah, blah. And so he motions to my girlfriend, he says, oh, good, good. So you're not gonna marry her, right? And at the time, me and my girl were really close. I said, Gene, trust me, she's not like she's not like other girls, this and that, blah, blah, blah. He goes, you didn't get anything out of my book, did you? Read it again, and this and that. So she starts getting in his face, up, the whole bit. And he puts his hand, in her face. He says, excuse me, I was talking to the male species here. Anyway, so this goes on and on, right? Yeah, well, so anyway, so the last thing he says to me, he says, you don't think she wouldn't leave you for the next guy with more money and more clout in the industry, blah, 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 the whole thing? I said, trust me, she wouldn't. So anyway, so my impression was Gene doesn't know what he's talking about. A year later, she left me for someone with more money, more clout, the whole thing. Gene was right. He was right.
Did she leave you for him?
No. No. Yeah.
Gene Simmons, what can you say? I mean, the guy's a genius.
Yeah.
I mean, he gave us cold gin, he gave us rock and roll all night. Radioactive. Right.
This here is
okay.
This is a cover I did for a RoboCop comic book, and the funny story behind it, I'm not a huge RoboCop fan, but I know enough to know that it takes place in futuristic Detroit, right? So when I illustrated the cover, I thought it'd be cool to put, the Detroit skyline down below or whatever. So I'm also a professor at one of my local colleges where I live, and I was actually illustrating this as a demo in class, and as I'm working on it, one of the students says, what is RoboCop doing in Canada?
What is he doing in the fish market, actually?
What's he doing in Windsor? And I look at it, and it's actually, I grabbed a picture of the Detroit skyline as seen from Windsor.
Yeah.
So it's actually, RoboCop is now serving your metropolitan area.
That's awesome. Thanks. Great. That is cool. Okay, we're going to come back right after this with more of the Comic Book Syndicate. Mr. Matt, thank you very much.
The Comic Book Syndicate will be right back.
Sarah? Hey.
Did you find what you were looking for?
I think I did. Check it out.
Cool. Looks like a castle. Where'd you find this?
In the cemetery, just down the road.
In the snow?
Yeah, it was weird. It was like calling me or something. Just sitting there staring at me, peeking out of the snow. And I'm gonna paint it.
Cool.
I know it's just a painting of a castle, but I imagine all the things that you don't see.